What's up YouTube? Coach Ashes here to bring you another video. I'm sure you're all excited and are probably playing the Gears 5 tech test going on this weekend and next weekend. Today is Saturday the 20th, but I wanted to give a quick little tutorial video to help you guys feel maybe not so confused and look not so lost in Gears of War 5, Gears 5, Escalation 2.0. So stay tuned, that's what we're going to talk about in this video. So obviously there are a lot of differences between Escalation 2.0 and Gears of War 4's version of Escalation. But today we're going to be talking about kind of the differences between them and just really quickly going over some pointers that can help you guys maybe better adjust to the way the game plays now. So the first pointer is hills are not as important as they used to be. I don't even know if you can see me writing on the whiteboard, so I'm not going to bother with doing that. But hill importance is going to be the first thing that we're going to talk about in Gears of War 5, Gears 5. I gotta get used to not calling it of war. In Gears 5, the hill importance has been lowered. That's because there's a new win condition added, and this is the elimination condition. Now what this means is if you wipe the entire enemy team and none of them are on the map, there are 3 seconds that will pop up on their screen, like a little timer that'll go down for them to respawn. However, if they're still on the respawn timer, then they can't actually meet the demands of that elimination timer, and the team that's still alive wins the round. So in the early rounds, like rounds 1, 2, 3, and then rounds 7, 8, and 9, where the respawn timers are 16, 15, and 14 seconds respectively, that's going to be where this is the most important, because you can play for kills and you can kind of get that clean wipe pretty early on that will help you win the round without even really worrying about the hills. Tip number 2 is people need to remember that the down but not out system is way different now. You can be killed from far away. So this means you have to play way more patient compared to the previous playstyles that you probably had in Gears 4, where you could get away with things like bouncing around and fast movement saving you from being in a bad situation. Now you have to kind of calculate your position and be more aware of your surroundings in order to make the optimal play. And I'm going to erase this. This also means that if you get it down across the map, feel free to pull out a lancer, a pistol, or even if you're close enough, a shotgun to put in that final damage to kill them. Also, any damage that you do put into the person who is down and crawling around, that will lower their bleed out time and could cause them to die much faster. So it basically makes it so there's less time for their teammates to actually revive them. Tip number 3 is weapon placements. Now this is a very new system. It's much more complex. It's very much like a chess match between the two teams that is going on between rounds. Now winning the early rounds is super important to getting that early advantage and controlling the pace of the weapon placements, as I like to call it. But realistically, you can still win this like little mini game no matter what kind of position you're in, whether you're losing the early rounds or winning the early rounds. The biggest thing to note is that putting weapons on that center line of any map is going to put you at a deficit. So if you put a boom shot at the center line, but the other team put a grenade, like a smoke grenade or a flash grenade, on one of their secondaries, that means the next round, that after that round takes place, they're going to have a secondary weapon after their weapon placements. Also, going into that fight, they're going to have extra utility in the form of smoke grenades or stun grenades. So while you're fighting for that boom shot, you're already at a grenade and utility deficit. The next round, say you put grenades on your secondaries like they did to match them, but they're going to have a Marxa or a Retro or a Hammer Burst or one of these other guns, or maybe even shot grenades or something like that, that's going to heavily put the fight in their favor. So now you've kind of given up the fact that, yeah, you put a boom shot down the middle, so they're not going to be able to put a boom on their side, but they're going to win that boom fight with the extra utility until you catch up, and it's going to take you a little while to catch up. So keep that in mind. Don't just put things down on the center line. Another quick tip for this weapon placement system is in ranked matches, you actually vote. So the person who's on the top of the leaderboard for the team is going to select like kind of where it goes, and then the rest of the team votes. If you see a majority of people voting for something, don't just go vote for something else. Yesterday in a pub match, I was trying to put flash grenades down so we could build into a shock, so I could build around this strategy of I'm gonna have shock grenades on our side, and then I'm gonna put a power weapon down, and the other team will be caught off guard. And instead, one of my teammates voted for the smoke grenade, so it went 1-1 because the rest of the team didn't understand that they needed to vote. And there's no way for me to communicate that to them. It put a smoke grenade down. So what I want people to understand is if you see your weapon placement like leader, let's say, putting something or selecting something, just go along with the vote. Don't try to go independent or rogue or do your own thing. 9 times out of 10, it's better to make a bad decision together than it is to make a split decision and be on different pages. And the last tip I'm going to talk about is the respawns / your life system. So every game you start with 5 lives. You also get the first respawn of every round for free. So this means on the very first round, round 1 or round 7, you're going to have 5 lives in your bank and your first life is going to be free, your initial spawn. So that means you can respawn once after your initial spawn. So say you run out of spawn, you fight, you die, you can respawn once and you'll still have 5 going into the next round. Anything after that after that first respawn from your bank is going to start putting you at a deficit compared to that 5 maximum. So keep that in mind that if you're at 5, you have basically 1 initial spawn and 1 respawn every round. Anything after that is when you start to go into a deficit. So keep that in mind. Don't be afraid to use your respawns, but just keep an eye on it, pay attention to it, especially when you start getting into later rounds and later escalation games where you're around 12, round 13. It might be better to approach around 12 where it looks like you might not win it, with the mindset of, okay, I'm gonna spawn once, I'm gonna bank up my respawns, and then on round 13, when the respawn timer is 10 seconds, I'm just gonna keep pumping out respawns and try to close out the game there. Keep that in mind. Don't abuse the respawn system, but don't be afraid of it either. All right, guys, I hope this video helped you. Let me know in the comments down below what kind of other coaching content you want to see on my channel. I'm really excited for Gears 5. I'm excited to drop my new podcast, the Ashcast. Hopefully coming to YouTube next week, as well as iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, all that cool stuff. We're working on getting it everywhere. So if you guys want to see that, let me know. Make sure you hit the like button. Share this with your friends so that everybody can be educated and make Escalation a really fun pub match environment. And go out there and play the test. Get out and play the Gears 5 I don't know what it's called, the tech test. Go play the tech test. It's fun. I'll see you all in the next video.